The BlokeBusters podcast is proud to be a member of the Pod Bros Network. You can find us, as well as other fantastic podcasts, such as Pencil and Ink Review, Another Damn Trivia Show, and Language of Bromance at podbros.com, as well as on most other fine podcasting services. Now sit back, relax, and prepare to share and enjoy the BlokeBusters podcast.
Welcome to episode 69, insert your own joke here, of the BlokeBusters podcast. Whoa. I'm Paul.
And I'm Brian.
Yes, we've gone off the rails already. Alright.
Reading is good. Can we start the story?
Yes,
okay.
So, first of all, you can find us on Twitter at BlokeBusters, Facebook.com/BlokeBusters, email us BlokeBusterPodcast@gmail.com. We are on Instagram, not very much so, but we are on it. And we have a website, blokebusters.webs.com. It's our nice little area of the internet there. And one or two things before we fully get into it. First off, thank you very much to, well, Brian and...
to a larger extent.
Yes, Tim Bear and Guy Montgomery of The Worst Idea
of All Time
podcast.
Yeah.
For giving a shout out.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank them for the hours of entertainment they've provided myself and all their fans. So I did that and then debated whether or not I should throw in something about the podcast. And I said, well, what the hell? I mean,
yeah. Worst thing is they just don't read that bit.
Yeah, and I actually put a clause in there, and it's totally cool if you do not ever recognize this or whatever. And it was very nice of them to mention it on their most recent Fan Zone episode. So
yeah, well,
thank you guys.
Most recent as of time of this recording. So yes. Mm-hmm. And yes, and also directly because of that, we have our very own superfan at this point.
Oh, we've given them superfan status. Okay.
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay. So it's like the Flight of the Conchords, one fan. It's our one fan.
Yes, it is.
I would get her character name right now, but I can't remember.
Yes,
someone correct me.
So yes, it is at one Aussie Nerd 1 on Twitter, and it's been great fun talking to him, and also myself and Brian would like to point out Frankenstein is the name of the doctor, not the monster.
Yes it is. Go to the original source material of the novel. That is the end of that argument. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we just wanted to reopen that old wound. So,
okay, moving along.
Alright, yes. So today, as you probably already know, based on whatever it is we called this, we are talking about both The Princess Bride and Deep Impact.
I mean, how can you talk one and not talk about the other?
Exactly, yes.
They are a made-in-heaven double feature.
Exactly. The reason we decided to do both of these is because when we looked at what came out in the last month on Netflix, we realised that rather than, there's only one we want to talk about, there were about 12 we could have done.
Yeah.
And
a few regrettable. Yeah.
Yeah, and there were some that, well, obviously we wanted to do more than others. And The Princess Bride was very clearly there, and there's no way,
clear winner.
There's no way we couldn't have talked about that. And then also, I have actual strong nostalgic twangs for Deep Impact, so we decided to cover that as well. So obviously, we shall now get the one that everyone wants out of the way.
And just a little housekeeping to back up, maybe. If this is in fact one of your first episodes, we have rechanged our format from the early episodes. We do a feature film and then a Netflix recent release of the previous month that we decide on. We kind of alternate between that and then our smaller film for thought episodes.
Yes, it's kind of came about out of necessity, really, due to I might have mentioned this on the last podcast, but my wife is pregnant and very soon it's going to reach the point where I'm not going to be able to go to cinema every single week.
And Netflix is a little more affordable than
yes. So we're kind of changing to it now, hoping that down the line, it'll be a lot easier to stick with this. So, and it's actually been a lot more fun than I was anticipating.
Absolutely, yes. But I got to see Good Burger because of this format. I'm forever grateful.
Oh, come on! At least the people listening to this will have had fun.
I hope. And then one last thing, as all episodes are, these are spoiler episodes.
Yes.
If you, for some reason, haven't gotten around to it in 30 years to see the Princess Bride.
Yes.
But, and Deep Impact, anything, we are going to give away key plot elements, ending, whatever. So everything's fair game.
Although the one thing I will say is, with The Princess Bride, there is no way in the time we have that we're going to cover everything. So
no, I will try to do my best. This might be like my Micro Machine podcast. I will just be talking that fast.
Yes.
Grandfather's here.
Can't you tell me I'm sick? He'll pinch my cheek. I hate that.
Maybe he won't.
Hey, how was this, Sickie? Huh? I brought you a special present.
What is it?
It was the book my father used to read to me when I was sick, and I used to read it to your father. And today, I'm going to read it to you.
It was a time when life didn't seem so complicated.
Marriage is what brings us together today.
What?
What?
I'm killing myself once we reach the honeymoon suite.
Wouldn't that be nice,
A courtly age of gentle conversation.
I will always come for you.
But how can you be sure?
This is true love.
Oh, no. Is this a kissing book?
No. Actually, there was a lot of treachery, peril, and revenge.
Prepare to die.
Never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
There were affairs of state.
But I've got my country's 500th anniversary to plan, my wedding to arrange, my wife to murder, and Gilda to frame for it. I'm swamped.
And affairs of the heart.
My Wesley will always come for me.
Your Wesley is dead.
I've seen worse.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
It's more than turning. What's the difference? We've got him.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle.
Bye-bye.
It's a story of love. A tale of adventure. It's as real as the feelings you feel.
They're kissing again.
Someday you may not mind so much.
The Princess Bride. Not just your basic, average, everyday, ordinary, run-of-the-mill, ho-hum fairy tale.
Alright, so let's get into Princess Bride first, and very quickly, this film is, as I worked out about 10 minutes ago, 1 month and 10 days younger than I am. It was 1987, directed by Rob Reiner. A budget of $16 million and a box office domestic, because there are no figures for worldwide, $30,857,814. So, did quite well there. And
Yes.
and I believe you found a brilliant synopsis of the film.
Oh, yes. I mean, in case anyone was just wondering. Yes, while homesick in bed, a young boy's grandfather reads him a story called The Princess Bride.
And that is 100% accurate.
I mean, I can't say that's a lie. That does happen.
There is a bit more to it than that.
It's a little more. Yeah, there's a few more characters than the boy. Yeah. Okay. But good on you, IMDb. All right.
And yes, we're not going to go into everyone who was in it, except when it just comes up. So,
yeah.
where are we starting with this one then?
I just want to start with my first note that I wrote down. I really wasn't planning on taking notes because it's a film I'm so familiar with.
Yep.
But as I texted Paul, since it's a film, I do watch this about, I would say, yearly. Sometimes multiple times in a year. Mm-hmm. So yes, I'm quite a fan. But as I was texting Paul, I said I was going to make it interesting, and I was playing the drinking game version. So that did liven things up, and then I got the pen flowing after that.
Yes, the inconceivable drinking game.
Yes, pretty much.
I imagine it was called.
Yes. RealDrinkingGames.com. Check them out. Fun times. But anyway, the first thing I really wrote down was that after all these years, I still find it immediately endearing and charming. Like, the way this story is set up, the way the world is set up, it just hooks me with its charm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just buy into the fantasy of the world, and I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. The first time I saw it, and the first time my wife saw it, actually, was about 5 or 6 years ago. My mother basically sat us down and said, "You haven't seen The Princess Bride? You're watching The Princess Bride." So we watched The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And I was immediately hooked in it. It was my style of humour, poking fun at itself and at the tropes and at all that type of stuff. The meta thing of jumping back and forth to the kid in bed, especially at the beginning where it's like, I thought you said this wasn't a love story.
Yeah, you know, and that's we can get this out of the way immediately, but I think maybe one of my only issues with the film is that early on there are too many interruptions, I'd say, by the grandfather and kid. It kind of staccatos the flow of that opening a little bit for me. It tapers off as the film goes on, for sure.
Yes.
But right in the beginning there, it pops in and out about every 5 minutes, and it's a little distracting for me.
I'm fully on board with that, though, because I felt that would happen. Like, the granddad is reading...
Because the story's just beginning, so the kid's going to have a lot of questions. And
also he keeps objecting to what it is in the story, and... So I was on board with that because, that is what the kid would have done.
Probably my favorite Fred Savage line from the film. Is this a kissing book?
Well...
yeah, it is and it isn't. But so many memorable characters in this.
Yeah.
The introduction of Vizzini is probably one of the greatest character introductions I've seen on film. Just when he's ripping Mandy Patinkin a new one, Inigo and Fezzik on the boat, you put whatever, comic whatever landmass and slobbering drunk, he calls it Indigo, and Wallace Shawn's just nice shrill voice. I love it.
Yeah. It's one of those things I think of just perfect casting.
It is. It was perfectly cast. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen two more beautiful people on screen than Robin Wright and Carrie Elwes. Like, at that age, they're still either one of them that hasn't really looked like they've aged too much. But yeah, those two, and that's one of those things, like, you want movies to be reality. I'm like, I want those two kids to be together.
Yeah. But, I can buy that.
I think there was, there is tons of extra materials to be sought out for this film.
Oh, yeah.
Documentaries, Carrie Elwes' book, which I always stumble over the last name because I just say it quickly because I know I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah.
Whatever I choose, it's going to be wrong.
It's either going to be Elwes or Yules or
Carrie E.
Or it's going to be something entirely odd like a wheeze or something like that.
It's like, it's actually pronounced Smith.
Yes, he's actually changed his last name to Smith.
To make things a little easier.
One of my favourite stories that I found out about after watching is Mandy Patinkin's character, where his father had just died to cancer, and so to him, the six-fingered man was the cancer that killed his dad.
And he had oh my gosh, I wish I had kept the screenshot of that quote or something, but he said, like, when he was killing Rugen, it felt like he was at least, did you read that, like, at least, kind of killing the cancer.
It was him finally getting revenge on that.
It's pretty touching. But Mandy Patinkin nails this. Like, he almost steals the show. Like, I would say maybe does in all of his scenes.
No, yeah,
he's such a terrific actor, and I know he's on. I don't watch the show he's on now. Some TV
NCIS
procedural or something. Or something. But
he was also in Dead Like Me as the leader of the gang. There, and that's how I was introduced to him.
Yeah, but I mean, he said on, like, the bonus stuff, like, this is just what a gift that he was able to be involved in this. And I mean, clearly you got Rob Reiner.
This is one of those things that I think back then, if I could have taken a week off unpaid and somehow been helping out on set, I'd have done it. Like, this is, I'm sure there was so much fun to be had on set, and just
I would have scrubbed porta johns for this film.
as long as you got to be on the sideline somewhere.
As long as it wasn't before, as long as it was before Andre the Giant went into one, because he'd be wearing. Yeah, I don't even know if he can get in one.
No, yes, he probably had his own little cabin officer or somewhere.
Rest in peace, Andre.
Yes.
Yeah.
And another thing was like you wouldn't quite think that just having this huge character would work, but nope, it does. Although this is jumping very randomly in later in the film, but their ultimate plan to get into the castle at the end is to set him on fire. I never fully understood that. It's just, let's set the giant on fire.
For a little callback, fire back.
Yes. But even so, that was, I think, the only time when watching the film I was like, so what was the plan? Like, how is this working?
Well, I think fire just gets you over that hump. Like, well, this is a very large, intimidating man. Well, shit, now he's on fire. Now we need to run. Like, maybe if you would have tried to fight him, no fire.
I suppose.
That's my only, I'm just trying to come up with something.
But then it does lead into other things, like him trying to talk to the captain of the guards. It's just like, oh, this key. Yes, I have it here.
Talk about quotable. This film is probably one of the most quotable films of all time.
I can't think of one that is more so. I really can't.
In each one you think, oh, this has got to be the best one. No, there are at least 50 others as funny, as original. I know we're just going to be scatterplot all over this, and we're not going to go, we just don't have the time to go plot by plot or, through things kind of sequentially, but I was reading, Billy Crystal did not repeat one joke on set.
Sounds like Robin Williams.
Yeah, so like anything was just in the moment and on the cuff. And, just countless more stories like that. I love just reading more things about this film, and like I said, it would have just been one of those unique experiences to work on. Like, a lot of times, people were asked, "Oh, did you know you're working on something special?" And a lot of times the answer is no. I didn't. You don't really. You just work on something and you hope it does well. If it does, you go on to the next thing. Yeah. You had to have known this was something special.
No, the script. I can't think of a script for a film that could have been done better. Like, before you get into like Deadpool levels of meta, there was enough in this that made it a fantastic romantic comedy action adventure, but also made fun of every single action comedy romantic, like all of those things. It just, there's so much in it, and I feel that the writer probably both really likes it and also like really wanted to rip into those because they did them so well.
Yeah, and ironically, I think it is the go-to fairy tale story. Like, not, at
this point,
it's the, what it kind of satirizes. It does the best job of, I think.
Yeah.
Which is, eventually you want to see the bad guys get theirs and the lovers get together at the end. And check and check.
Yeah. And also, randomly, like, the cameos in this.
It's
so many people pop up.
One after the next, yeah.
Probably the most famous would be the marriage.
Oh, Peter Cook.
Yes.
The impressive clergyman. Probably one of the best credits I've ever seen of a side character.
Yeah, every single time every single time my mother sees this, she's on the floor when he's on screen.
Yeah, the wing. Do you have the wing?
And I really like to think that he came up with that on set. It was like, I'm just gonna go with W's instead of R's. I'm sure
I've known the story. I can't think of it right now how that voice came to be, but I know it. I think it's on like the 20th anniversary DVD or something. But I'm just gonna move along because, like I said, there's so much to cover with this.
Yeah. Mel Smith turned up. Mel Smith.
Mel
For
Smith.
those of you that don't know who Mel Smith is, he was a British comedian who was very popular on British television during the 80s. What the hell was he doing in this? But he's still fantastic. He's just this guy that just has made this torture machine. Because why not?
And one of the best freaking gags in the movie when he had... and then clears his throat.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
Just beautiful moments like that. You have Carol Kane, who plays Miracle Max's wife.
Yeah.
Not a witch, I'm your wife! And just, she's comedy gold. Just a legend. And it's just too full of people.
Yeah.
You got freaking Columbo, obviously in the beginning. And... Christopher Guest, we've discussed him in previous podcasts.
Yeah.
The mockumentary one to be particular. It's just so chock full.
Yeah, there's too many to really go into. Like, we didn't write down everyone that was in it, so we can't give you a full list. But yeah, pretty much every scene has someone or something in it that's like, oh, okay, there's this now.
Yeah. Oh, I did happen to come up with, I forgot, there was one other, just one little bone to pick, and the film is so endearing, of course, I just let it go, but it's the whole kind of Superman Clark Kent not recognized, so you put a little mask on Wesley, and her true love is unrecognizable to her.
Yes.
His voice and his... lower face is unrecognizable to her.
Yeah, he does not change his voice at all.
No.
There's no change there.
So you got to suspend disbelief a little bit on that part, but oh my god, that is probably one of the best scenes. One of my favorite scenes, the Battle of Wits.
Yeah,
just it's like you really have a Disney intellect. Wait till I get started. Yes, truly, your intellect is Disney. Yeah,
but of course you would know that.
And then
yeah.
Sorry, I know you don't want to hear us reenact the movie. Sorry, but it's that good. It's that much fun.
And I think that the reason that Carrie E got Men in Tights is because of this film.
Absolutely.
I like to think that this film, like him in this, like his son turns out to be Robin Loxley, like somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. But there are parts of this, I don't know if you'd agree, that felt almost Mel Brooksian.
I was almost waiting for the... Wait a minute. I don't lose. Where's that script? There's no 100% fourth wall breaking in this film.
No, there isn't. But there's so many clever little nods to the camera. Oh my gosh, yes.
I swear there's even one or 2 points where a character does look directly into camera as a response to something that's been said.
I think there are a couple mugging the camera. The ROUSs. I love that there are actual people in there. And,
yes, just in case, as we said, just in case you haven't seen the film, which, why are you still listening? It's rodents of unusual size.
Yes. Oh, there. What about the rodents? Oh my gosh, yeah. Just if you're a fan of the film, you probably already know a lot of these stories. But yeah, I know William Goldman put out the fire on her dress the first day because he didn't know that was going to happen, so he ruined the first shot, screaming fire.
Right.
He's like, no, that's supposed to happen.
Yes, reset everyone.
Yes, thank you. Who let the writer on set?
We could go on forever.
I think we will for just a couple more minutes, maybe.
Probably, yes.
Just a couple other things that stood out on this watch. I feel like Tim and Guy now. Great performances this week by the Boo lady. I'm sure she has a credit. I'm not going to take the time to look that up right now.
Yeah.
But you know who I mean when... out of the dream sequence, first she's introduced in a dream sequence as Humperdinck's bride, and then in reality as the bride to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's really. I did actually kind of like those random sequences where it's like they're out there, and it's like, No, okay, what?
But it's a super amazing performance by an extra. Just boom, boom, just beautiful. It gets me every time. I freaking love it. That and when it's so stupid, but when they tumble down the cliff, Robin Wright goes head over head, like bone-breaking rolls, like shattered spine, pelvis, boom, boom, and horrible falls all the way down. I am busting my gut laughing. And
of course, the best part about that is she has no reason to roll down. She can run down. She's not been pushed.
No, but he just throws himself on right after. Yeah. Oh,
I mean, I'll admit it is fun to roll down a hill. I've done it many times.
Probably not like that.
No, yes, head over heels. No, not unless you're in one of those giant inflatable balls.
Yeah. So I guess I'll wrap things up because I'm not going to get to these notes, but it's just such a splendid blend of kind of subtle comedy and just hit you over the head comedy.
Yeah.
One of those things that I didn't even notice some of the times, but there's a character, Yellen, who is Humperdinck's kind of second or lieutenant or whatever in charge. And when he comes in late in the film, and I forget what piece of information he used to tell Humperdinck, something about, I don't know, unless they're who gives a shit, I don't know. I've only seen the film 100 times, can't think of it.
Yeah.
But he comes over and kneels beside Humperdinck and puts his arm on Humperdinck's armrest. Yeah. No words are spoken. Humperdinck just looks at him. Yellen moves his arm. Humperdinck puts his arm there. And it's just this little, just such subtle, brilliant comedy like that.
Just a little back and forth.
Yeah, that's never noted, and it's like the camera doesn't even like focus on it. It's just there in frame, and it's beautiful. Yeah, so that kind of, I guess to an extent, kind of sums up my love of this film.
There's just so many great. Like, I think my favorite part in the film is when Wesley is climbing up the cliff. Mm-hmm. And Inigo Montoya is waiting up on the top, and they keep. But it's like, just so you know, when you come up here, I'll kill you. It's like, okay, thanks. It's like, do you want me to throw a rope down? It's like, no, this is incredibly difficult. If you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, and I should have, before going into this final names, I should have said, no, there was too much. Let me sum up.
Yes. This film. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see too many more like it.
No, this is a desert island film for me, without a doubt. I mean, I never, I hate the question, "What is your favorite film?" But because the answer varies for different points in your life. But this has been an answer to that question multiple times in my life.
I can see that. I mean,
and anyone that says it's a chick flick, you're wrong, And you're wrong just using that term anyway, but...
Yes, technically any film can be a chick flick because female people like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so get your sexist head out of your ass.
This is not where I thought this was going to go.
No, I don't know. It's been too long since I rant, so I had to just throw that in there. But really, it's never not funny. Doesn't get old for me.
That's one of the many things that I find interesting is that if you want something to feel timeless, set it in the past, and therefore
and practical effects mostly.
Yes,
not bad CGI because there's
CGI,
really.
The only thing that you'll see is maybe the matte painting isn't quite as good as it could be, but they're working on a $60 million budget and they had so many people in it. Like, I'm not surprised that they didn't have 10 million left over for some lovely matte paintings.
And can I just end on this factoid, and we'll go on to the next film?
Yeah.
So Mandy Patinkin obviously doing a lot of sword fighting and stuff on there.
Yep.
I think might have had a couple of injuries.
Oh, probably.
His only injury was he bruised his ribs holding in laughs during the Miracle Max scene. That is a testament to the hilarity of at least Billy Crystal in that scene, and probably to a larger extent the movie. But his only injury came in from not trying to break during the
Yeah, that might actually be a drinking game in and of itself. Watch the film only watching people's faces
trying
to see
not to break.
if they're about not to break.
Yeah. All right, so that's our kind of gushing love affair for Princess Bride.
Yes,
I apologize for other moments and bits we didn't get to.
No, yeah, and I'm sure we skipped over many people's favourite parts from the film because there's too many.
Good chance to get to us at Twitter and let us know what your favorite part is or what you love about the movie. If you don't love the movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're in possibly 0.003% of the population,
if you're in the wrong
like
side of the opinion.
But yeah, just as long as you're able to give us a reason why, fair enough, we want to hear. It'd be cool to find out what you think.
Absolutely.
And I don't think I could rate this if I wanted to. I didn't think about like this.
No, there's no rating other than this movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah. All right.
That is my rating. Okay.
So
now, into the natural progression.
Yes, yeah. Once you've seen the comedic brilliance, the heartwarming
beautiful storytelling,
the wonderful acting that is Princess Bride, we could only follow up by watching 1998's Deep Impact,
the stepbrother to Meteor Films that year.
Mr. Rittenhouse, Jenny Lerner, MSNBC. If we could just talk about Ellie.
He had a private phone line installed in his office.
Turn your camera off.
I think the president knows about it, too.
Okay, Secretary of the Treasury resigns because of a mistress named Ellie. Okay!
If she knows, how long can it be before CNN or the Post breaks the story?
Mr. President, I'm not interested in using Ellie to further my career.
What do you know about Ellie?
Congratulations. You now have the biggest story in history.
A few minutes ago, the United States ambassadors to every country in the world told the leaders of those nations what I'm about to tell you. Last summer, 2 comets were discovered that are on a collision course with Earth.
Oh my God.
The smaller comet will hit first.
We now have the details.
Creating a tidal wave over 3,000 feet high. The larger comet is the size of New York City, 500 billion tons. If it can't be stopped, all life on Earth will perish. So for the past 8 months, the United States and Russia have been building the largest spaceship ever constructed, the Messiah. This is the crew that will stop the comets. We all hope for the best, but we've prepared for the worst. To ensure our way of life goes on, a network of immense caves has been constructed. We're going to hold a national lottery. We can put 1 million people in them for 2 years. It is our new Noah's Ark.
If you marry me, I can get you into the Ark, so you can live.
No men and women over 50 will be included in the lottery.
Don't worry about me. I'm going to be happy as long as I know you're going to live.
To have and to hold.
If the world does go on.
To love and to cherish.
It might not go on for everyone.
To live and part.
Be good. Be good.
Good luck to us all.
One of the many times where you find that Hollywood ends up making the same film twice or 3 times, such as more recently, Olympus Has Fallen and whatever the other one was called.
White House Down.
Yeah, so something like that.
I knew that, but it just came out.
Yeah, I almost wanted to say Black something down, but it's like, no, that's Black Hawk Down.
Black House Down is very politically incorrect, Paul.
You'll notice I stopped myself speaking.
But I didn't.
So this one directed by Mimi Leder. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong.
Leder or something.
Probably the only thing that most people would know her from other than this is Pay It Forward, which isn't actually that bad.
It's actually not that good.
It's not brilliant, but it's not that bad.
With the messed up face.
Nope,
move on.
Yeah. Budget of $80 million and a box office worldwide $349,464,664. Domestically, it made $140,464,664. So it raked in some money.
It did. I don't know how it did. Maybe I'm dipping my hand here.
And, now a little bit of backstory as to why I kind of wanted to talk about this. I have more nostalgic feeling for this film than I do for Princess Bride, because, as I did mention, I only saw it 6 or so years ago, where Deep Impact I saw round about the time it came out.
I think this might be another case that's indicative of our age difference.
Probably. I mean, I'm not going to say that I think it's a fantastic film. That is not.
I'm very much relieved to hear
that
you
is
say
not
that.
coming out of my mouth, other than just saying.
I'm wiping the sweat off my brow now. Thank you for not going down that road and making me argue against that.
But I do have the twinges when I say like the young Elijah Wood who doesn't age. He just like he looked a little old by the time he reached Lord of the Rings. He'd found his Dorian Gray painting, and he no longer ages.
No, and his eyes get bluer with time. That asshole. All right, how dare you?
But yeah. So I think that the best way to go about this is for you to give me every single note you have there.
Oh my god! I was going to have just rapid fire of these questions, so that I just. Guys and gals out there, every single thing is like, why wasn't this happening? Where is this? Why is every 4 minutes I was pausing and saying, that doesn't make any sense.
All right, come on then.
Can I just briefly talk about some good things?
Go ahead.
Before we... Okay.
I think we need to.
Okay. Morgan Freeman, amazing as POTUS.
Yeah. I'm surprised it hasn't happened again since then.
I mean, he is the guy to play POTUS. I mean, and then... I did have a thought, like, at the end, like, he says a prayer to God, and I'm, like, thinking, you're praying to yourself right now.
Yes.
You narcissistic bastard.
Yeah, myself and the wife we were watching this, and he starts going, it's like, he's talking to himself now.
Yes, you are God, right? And I don't mean that funny, I mean Morgan Freeman is God, yeah. He's never, But yeah, he was amazing as the president.
He was.
Completely believable in that role.
Yeah.
I would say, as far as, kind of disaster films go, but I'd say better than... Well, the one from Armageddon is, like, forgettable. He's hardly even in it. He's an unknown...
I couldn't tell you who
it's all dealt with over the phone, like Mr. President says this President. I think he's shown, like, a couple times. It's just some dude. But, like, better than, I would say, Pullman in Independence Day.
Yeah.
As far as disaster presidents go. A couple others I'm sure in there, but... Who was it? Mars Attacks. Was that?
Nicholson? That's Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. So maybe not as I don't know. Tough to apples and oranges.
I would say he's better than Nicholson as the president, but he's not better than Nicholson as that
as
guy.
Second character.
As the second character.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I loved him in the film, of course, and for me, he is the movie.
Yeah.
He's the takeaway, the reason to watch this. But okay, so here we get into some criteria here.
Okay.
Criticisms. The comet looks awful.
Yes, it does.
Awful. I mean, it looks bad when they're on it, but it looks horrendous in its shots. Like, it looks worse than Ghostbuster effects. And this is 1998.
Yeah.
So the technology is there to make it look good. Remember, Lord of the Rings was made 1 year later. The Fellowship.
Yeah.
So, and that film still holds up pretty well for the CGI.
I mean,
but
I'm just
that comet in space with the streaks. Oh my god! It looked like it was a still frame at one point. Like it wasn't even moving. Like someone was just moving black construction paper behind it or something. It was. It looks awful. Like
now,
I made that note, and then later in the movie, I had to go back to this, and I wrote, "I mean bad." With the like it. Bad.
Fair enough. I just quickly looked up Armageddon. Mm-hmm. The budget for Armageddon is the amount it earned at the box office. It's the amount Deep Impact earned at the box office in America. So, that might be why.
And so this is going to lead into... Didn't think this ever happened. To Brian defending a Michael Bay film. Armageddon is better. I'm saying it. They're both B movies, okay?
Yes, they are.
They're B movies. I think Armageddon holds truer to the B movie cheesiness and just overinflated, grandiose story where Deep Impact so much, and I wrote this down multiple times, so much relies on the sentimentality. Really beats you over the head with it. Back to back scenes of Fish reading to Oren after he's blinded. Tugging on your heartstrings. And then Leo and Sarah split up with like the bus, classic cliche bus
Yeah.
pulling away.
Although-
And why do you run after him when you decided not to go, you idiot?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's another question. Oh wait, we're run. No, and then report. I couldn't remember her name, so for me, she is Reporter Lady.
Yes. Yeah.
Reporter Lady's mom.
Yeah.
Like those were back to back scenes. Like they are hitting you over the head. Oh, this is really, really, really sad, and it's too much. Like I will cry during a movie. I have no problem saying it. No problem admitting it. Like they really are manufacturing the sobs here in this movie.
Yes. I will say I do think that Deep Impact did better at the public reaction.
Yes, I was going to say that as far as like a worldwide response and like on a personal level response, Deep Impact got it more accurately, I think, more right than Armageddon did.
Yeah, because it
Armageddon
didn't really
is more
go
of
into
a fun thrill ride time. And spoiler, they fucking win, as you should in a disaster movie.
Yes,
not lose. I mean, kind of.
Yeah,
a big loss. I mean, what do they call it? A costly victory, in battle. Yeah, a very costly victory. You may have won the battle, but you lost more guys than the other guy. Whatever.
Yes.
Okay, so rapid fire questions.
Yes. Here we go. Let's see how nostalgia holds up.
Yes. So, weren't there multiple bombs? Because they had one bomb get stuck, and so it's not going to work if that one doesn't get down to depth. So, wasn't 8 of those, so 7 out of 8 isn't good enough to do the job. So that one needs to get down to that depth.
I think there are 6 of them, and I believe they also cover it in Armageddon as well. That it needed to get down to a certain depth to be able to break it apart. So the only thing I can say, devil's advocate wise, would be maybe the way the comet is made up. It does need to have a shockwave. Through it to work.
There needs to be a circuit.
Yes.
Something to connect.
Yes, exactly. I mean,
sure, I'll buy. Okay,
yeah.
Whatever.
I am grasping at straws.
That seemed like
there.
a very thin plot device.
Yeah.
Wait, only one of them got stuck. You still got 6 nukes in the center of this thing.
Yeah.
Or whatever. 4.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. How could they screw something up as big as not getting far enough away from the blast? So Messiah leaves the blast and. Then they're like, whoa, shockwave! You didn't give yourself enough time to get an ample distance away. That NASA seems pretty picky about calculations. Yeah, so you think they'd have that worked out?
I did think when I was watching it, were they saying that the timers, they weren't set on timers; they were just set to remotely detonate on the signal? But I think was what happened with that one, which says to me that they needed to be. Close enough to be able to set them off.
Well, they should have thought of going to ludicrous speed.
Yes. Or setting timers that activate when you hit the button, so you have even more time to get away.
Or that. Let's see. Okay, so here's a little quandary I had. So apparently, these worldwide leaders or whatever knew about this comet about a year before it struck. According to 10 months, I think it's quoted, or a year maybe.
Yeah, they learn about it a year before, and then the film really starts going when they finally announce it. So,
yes. So anyway, so they know about it for a year, but we're able to build a cave system that can sustain 1 million people in that amount of time.
I think
that seems like a pretty rough building timeline for me.
2 years technically then, because they say they've been planning for victory but preparing for the worst. So I think they've been building. They were building the caves at the same time they were building the space station rocket. So,
but wasn't the comet only the meteor only discovered a year before it was going to strike?
2, because
2 years.
Because that guy crashes and then it's a year later or whatever it was.
Still,
9 months, a year later.
Still, they've been working on they've been working on Route 23 for 4 years now, and that's shit and fixed.
Yes. However, if
so
fixing,
you're saying government contractors are gonna.
If fixing Route 23 became fix it or the Earth is going to explode, they might get it done a bit quicker.
Maybe.
Probably not, but maybe.
Probably not. So I don't know. That was a nitpick. But I still think that is 1 million people sustained. That's you got to have a place to have government, a place. You have to build a civilization.
Well, yeah, and I would also like to point out that if an extinction level event meteor hit the Earth. That big, if it hit the Earth, it would set off every volcano, and it would move tectonic plates, and magma would start coming up everywhere. Apologies if I'm using the wrong term. Yeah, like you are not safe.
I mean, even if you do survive, you're just in there till you're dead.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Yeah, you're not getting out in 2 years.
Yeah, no. Okay, so if Leo was able to get Sarah's family in the caves, that means like 3 people didn't get to go in there that were supposed to. Did you think of it? Like, if he pulls strings, like, because there's a set amount of public people that can go. 800,000. 200,000 for scientists and whatever.
Yeah. And that's not even specifically that location. There's just multiple around. So, however many at that one location.
Yeah. So, so for him to pull some strings and get her parents in, I mean, spoiler alert, they don't end up making it to the caves.
Yes, but still.
But parents and baby on, that means 3 people got pumped. There's death on your hands, Frodo.
Yes.
Like, you just murdered 3 other people. And yeah, okay. So there's that.
I have no response for that one. That one's just true.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, then I said overly sentimental. I've already touched on that.
Kind of along those lines, I actually have one. The helicopter at the end when they're going to take the helicopter to higher ground, and then and she says. Like the reporter lady takes the kid and then pushes the kid and her mother onto the helicopter instead. That's still one too many. Like they only had enough room or weight
it's like the kid doesn't count
for 7 people. So 7 and a half.
Well, they can pretend the 7th person is just a little
chubbier.
Than
well, that's the thing.
Because that kid weighs 40 pounds.
Well, that's the question then. Was it a weight issue or was it a seat issue? Because if it's a seat issue, there's still no room for the kid, so the kid would have to sit on a lap, which means people could have sat on the laps of other people.
I think it was more weight. That's why they were okay with the kid going along.
I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So here's another issue I had. So Leo's parents are just totally cool with him staying behind. Like, this is what, a 16-year-old kid, I think? Something
like that. 16, 17.
Yeah. So, they're still his parents. Like, he's like, no, you're not going. Or, let's keep in mind, because he married, not out of love, just out of necessity, his high school crush. So he's going to leave his family that he's known his entire life, that he loves, that loves him. They're going to look after each other in these caves, which they're still probably going to die in. He's going to leave them, and they're like, I get it. Dad hugs him, Mom hugs him. She is pretty hot, son. I gotcha. Go get her, boy. Total dick move by Frodo again.
Yeah, I mean,
that was just so unbelievable. I'm like, any parent is going to be like, fuck you. No, you're not going anywhere. I don't care if I have to pull you by your hair. You're coming with us.
Yeah, that fair enough. That's how it should have gone. The problem is then the ending wouldn't have been as good.
Yes, okay.
but yes, fair enough. Accepted.
Okay, next quandary. Why did reporter lady's mom check out? She couldn't stick around to see if the Titan rockets were going to work?
I believe that the explanation for that is she's depressed.
Depressed?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're depressed? The world is ending, you selfish person, you.
I think you could have used the word.
Yeah.
You selfish bastard.
Yeah.
There's one line where reporter lady is talking to her dad saying that she's depressed, like, why did you leave her, blah, blah, blah. So I think the underlying thing there is she's basically accepted that she's going to die and therefore goes out on her own terms.
I don't know, but you stick around to see if the missiles are going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, some being at a club or something. Oh, the Rolling Stones are going to play a secret set here in 10 minutes. And then you look at your watch like, those episodes of Deadpool or Daredevil aren't going to, stream themselves. So I got to run. Just, nope, out of here. Okay, so let's just keep on trucking forward.
Yeah.
Let's see. This was something. So I love Morgan Freeman. But kind of an asshole move when do we need all of the stats about how badly we're fucked? So it's going to be a 3,000 foot wave coming at you at 247 miles an hour. It's going to hit you with 50 metric tons of force. It's going to obliterate your intestines, and your head is going to fling off of your body. It's essentially that broken down, play by play. Like, this is exactly how badly we are screwed. And I'm like, at that point in time, like, that's not what you want to hear. You know, and first of all, who's sitting around watching the TV at that moment in time anyway? You're like, well, I guess we'll just watch the telly. Nothing else to do. And then I don't care if you're the president of the United States. If I'm that camera guy, I'm sorry. No, what are you gonna do? You're gonna shoot me. You're gonna have a court court martial me. Throw me in prison for not operating this.
Signal issues.
Screw this. I'm out of here. Yeah. Now I'm doing some Steve Buscemi shit and enjoying my last time on Earth.
I kind of like to think that there genuinely was actually a meteor that possibly could have hit Earth, and this film was the government saying, like, let's give them the information and then just hope it doesn't hit us. And if it does, we'll say, well, here's
so brutal to just say this is what's coming. This is how badly it's going to suck a D.
I did kind of like it though, because in most other films they're just like, it'll be a graphic as a general is explaining it to someone, saying the wave will be this high, and someone will just go, my God, and then they'll move on. Whereas this is, no, when a meteor hits the Earth, this is what will happen.
And he goes through explaining everything on that first smaller piece, and it's like, okay, so that it's gonna be, guys, it's gonna be pretty rough. But then we got Big Boy coming, and remember all that stuff I said? Doesn't matter, because we're all fucked after that one. So why'd you take the time explaining, the skies will be black, blah, blah. No, the next one is an extinction level event. We're gone.
Yeah, and I get the feeling that what was probably happening there is he was saying that, and it was probably being broadcast to the people that were already waiting inside the cave system, so like they understood what was going to happen. Which and thinking back on it, the cave system appeared to just be a couple of pairs of big doors in a mountain.
That's about right.
I wouldn't have minded seeing these several layers of doors inside as you went further down, but we never saw the inside.
Probably would have added a lot more to that budget.
Yeah. You could have just had someone looking in, just like, wow, that goes down quite far, doesn't it?
So you have a cave troll? Cave troll? There's a cave troll? Okay. No, it's not Batman v Superman. Okay. So then I think one of the things I just didn't buy, like you already touched on it, that the reporter lady would give up her seat. I mean, I got to believe, obviously we have never been in this situation.
Yeah.
But I got to believe survival instinct is pretty strong. And your graciousness is really going to take a second seat to saving your own ass.
Probably.
And maybe that's me, but I think that's most of us, and I think that's an overwhelmingly large majority of us.
And the only thing I can think of is, I think what would happen is you would definitely be looking out for you and yours. Like, so, not just
but
you.
This is a co-worker to some. Maybe a slight friend or work acquaintance.
Yes, but her mum had just killed herself, and she knew her dad was going to be at the beachfront. So, what would be waiting for her at the end? Like, she would just be sitting in there.
Yes, but to think from her dad's perspective, like when she shows up on the beach, he's like, "Hey, good to see you." But I'd be like irate, like you had a chance to save yourself. Like my daughter had a chance to save herself, and now we're just gonna stand here and let the biggest wave in history just wash over us. Stupid.
Which, as much as I enjoyed him explaining all of the stuff that was going to happen, that wave was not going anywhere near fast enough.
It was a little slow wave.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it would slow down when it hit the shore, but even so, like that wave was nowhere near fast enough moving once it hit the shore. Because you saw a massive wave, oh no, and it was moving at 1,100 miles an hour at sea, and then he said when it hits the shore, it'll slow down, but that doesn't really matter. Like, it's not going to slow down much. And then it just slowly went through New York. And something I was genuinely shocked that didn't edit out is the fact that they left the Twin Towers getting hit.
Yeah. Like, that was rough even seeing it last night.
I mean, I appreciated that they left that in, because so many people like probably would have watched the film and been, oh, that's in it? How about we just cut that 5 seconds of footage? But I'm fully appreciated that they did leave it, because it happened in the film. Obviously, it was 3 years prior, before the attacks, but like, I'm one of the people that I don't think that things need to be edited. Like, obviously,
no.
Obviously, if it was on air 2002, fair enough. Take out the 5 second.
Yeah.
But 2016.
No, it was made private. It was made previous to
yes,
that.
Exactly.
So there's no offense.
Yeah.
Only
it's just
inferred offense.
Well, that's the
You're
thing.
inferring it. You're not.
Had this
film.
thing happened at that time, they would have been hit by a giant wave.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, in retrospect, still, it's a difficult sequence to watch, especially I'm sure if you're even closer to that tragedy. But But even being removed from it, like I was, it still was like, ugh, just a little groan worthy. Like, yeah, glad they kept it in. Glad they didn't turn it into a walkie-talkie.
Yes.
Yeah, because that never goes well.
2 giant walkie-talkies just got it.
Wow.
Where did they put that?
A lot of walkie-talkies get destroyed in this city. Okay.
Was that some sort of art installation?
Yeah, but I can't believe it. Like I said before, I think Armageddon is the better of the two. As far as what I think they should have set out to do. Armageddon achieved the fun B-movie, just popcorn, shit's gonna blow up, crazy ride, cliche love story, cliche love song. Yeah. Yeah, so sick of that song. Sorry,
just looking at some stuff here.
Deep Impact is just a bummer. It's a bummer of a movie.
Armageddon came out 2.5 months after Deep Impact. Armageddon fared better at the box office, while astronomers describe Deep Impact as being way more scientifically accurate. So that's probably one of the reasons why I quite enjoy Deep Impact, is because it's more realistic. Like, this is.
If there could have been a combination where they got the science right in Armageddon, or at least a little closer, and still had the just crazy character of like Steve Buscemi and Billy Bob and all that.
I did enjoy that. There's a point when the president is announcing it, and then it cuts back to the studio that reporter lady works in, and someone just says, "Where is science?" So, good question.
I think that's a Neil deGrasse Tyson shirt.
But yeah, and the only note I wrote down for the film was just, once I finished watching it, I said, no great acting, meh special effects, Deus Ex Machina with the final blowing up, but just lots of nostalgic fun.
I question, mad special effects? Blah, special effects.
Yeah, I fully understand that this film had nowhere near the budget of Armageddon, so I was okay with it not being.
But then
great.
you get creative. You don't show how shitty special effects are. You get creative and you work around it, a la Jaws and countless other examples.
Yeah,
you work around the parts that look shitty on camera, or will look shitty in post.
Yes,
but either way, it's a downer. And like good old Frodo, But first of all, I'll take Arwen over Frodo any day. But Armageddon, Armageddon.
I get it.
But yeah, what are they going to do now? Lily Sobieski and they're just on top of a mountain with a baby, or like a cliff.
Well,
they're still.
Yes, they're there until the water recedes, and then the
and then they can go to the caves or what, and get their, because they're still in his parents, right?
Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing. I think at that point, let's say that half of the people in the cave live outside of the area that got hit by the wave, just because of the lottery. So that means that people that live in the area that were hit by the wave but weren't evacuated, some of them can live in the caves. But yeah, you've probably still got tens of millions of people that are now completely homeless. What's going to happen? A mass camping holiday for everyone until they start rebuilding.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I think that kind of wraps up my thoughts on that.
Yeah, fair enough. And
I mean, I didn't hate it.
No,
I just didn't love it.
Yeah, it's not horrible.
It's a meh of a movie.
Yeah, and it was something that I'm glad I rewatched, and I still did have the like. Yeah, I remember watching this. I remember this. This is
really all I could remember from watching it was like the scene where Taylor Leone and her dad get wiped out. Like that's all I remember. But
yeah.
Just to stay there, no, I would be screaming bloody murder at the top of my goddamn lungs. They're just like, that's a big wave. Let's hold hands or something. Yeah, well, maybe we'll be all right. Nope, probably not.
You just see the water disappear. You just look and say, "We're fucked."
Yeah, they wouldn't even drown. Just the sheer force of that wave hitting them would have killed them.
Yes.
So yeah,
Good,
way to go, Deep Impact.
Best case scenario.
Hell out last night.
Absolute best case scenario in that respect is they are whisked up the wave and then flung out the top somewhere.
So they live for another 30 seconds until they hit whatever they
exactly.
Yeah. All right. I think we've probably gone on long enough on this one, maybe.
So I'm just going to cover. I put out something on Twitter just asking for any and all comments, and that's what I got back. Let's see. On a Night from the Soiled Western Cinema podcast, in true On a Night fashion, responded. I said, we want your Princess Bride and Deep Impact thoughts, comments, and his response was, would sure like to put a deep impact in that bride. Heyo! Thanks, I'll be here all week. Tip your servers. Smiley face.
So you're welcome on it, right? Now you have to
Yes, you actually got that in there. I bet you didn't think I would use it, but I did.
Yeah, thought wrong.
Yes, and from our superfan, Deep Impact came out at the same time as Armageddon because the news has a story about asteroids hitting Mars. It's an example of parallel thinking. Yeah. Pretty much, and I'm fine with the people coming up with the same idea, but I do think at some point people in Hollywood should talk to each other and be, oh, you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so one of us is getting screwed here, right? Because we're both not going to make like $300 million.
Yeah. Oh, well, you've got the bigger budget? Maybe I'll let you do it.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a release in February where there's nothing coming out.
Yeah. And then the last one from at MRex Podcast, that's the Moviesaurus Rex podcast. I haven't seen either of them. That's all I can say, really. Sorry.
Thank you for that input.
Yes, and once again,
very insightful.
I did promise I would mention it, and I did. So there you go.
Alright, not sure what you mentioned, but okay.
No, they're great over there. Just check them out if you got the time. It's kind of fun.
Alright. I think that's about going to wrap it up for this episode.
Yes, unless you have a third film you wanted to cover very quickly.
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, okay. Well, in that case, I've been Paul.
I've been Brian.
See you guys.
Bye.